My question is for Mrs. Sear. I come from France and I'm trying to understand your movement right now. But I have to say I'm very shocked that you compare Obama with Hitler. And I wanted to ask if you explain me this, because I believe that Bush and Reagan were the worst US presidents ever as far as disrespect for human rights is concerned.
Okay. Well, first of all, there's a big difference between Reagan and Bush, given that Reagan at least had the sense to adopt LaRouche's Strategic Defense Initiative, although he wasn't that great on economic policy. W. Bush particularly, as far as I was concerned, held the place as worst president ever until Obama. And Obama actually would kill more people than Hitler dreamed of. That's the policy, that's his deployment from the British Empire. And if you look at what's happening right now in the United States, it's becoming very clear, which is why the resistance to the mustache poster is gone, and why you have people in the Democratic Party that refused previously to break from Obama now saying, we can't deny it, it's not the Republican Party. It's Obama who came up with the budget cuts. It's Obama who wants to cut Social Security, Medicare. His policy is these wars. He's the one who takes pleasure every week on Tuesdays having a meeting of who he's going to kill with drones. It's a mentality. You saw it after the supposed killing of Osama bin Laden. He had a videotape of this, which he was insisting on making people watch in the White House. So his outlook is satanic, but he is not even himself. He is controlled completely out of Britain. Tony Blair was sitting in Chicago running his campaign in this last election, and you remember Tony Blair was the architect of the first Iraq war. So there's really no difference, except we are going from bad to worse, or worse to worse. So that's what I would say, and I think Lynn might have, I don't know if Lynn has more that he wants to add on this question or not.
There's only one thing that I could probably say at this point, which I referenced en passant earlier, that my specialty is the experience of the future. Now, this is not an absolutely uncommon kind of thing. It's just that in the cultivation of society, most people think up to the present moment and then quit. Oh, well, I don't want to get too loud. All right, and then they get to a certain point and then quit and say, well, nobody knows what's going to happen from here on in. This is the end of the story. But we do know in point of fact that the traces of history are such that things don't stop with what you know having been experienced as an actual physical sense experience beforehand. All great artistic composition and the performance of all great composition, artistic composition, depends upon the ability of someone like Beethoven to foresee what must happen and to understand what must not happen at the same time. So people who say, well, these are the facts, I only know the facts, they are people who are being deprived of the ability to appreciate what real human capability is. This becomes a significant factor in history when you have a population that says, we only know what we expect on the basis of experience so far. That is the great defect in human culture in general, which makes people impotent, politically impotent, morally impotent, because what they should have been able to foresee, even though they had not yet experienced it, that is what is called classical artistic composition. But it's not only classical artistic composition. It's an essential part of being fully human. And what we have is, you have a thing where if you are a slave, you have no right to decide on what the future will be. You simply live up to well, here's what I expect from my master to do to me. And that goes no further than that. They do not attempt to change the course of history according to ideas of principle. What we could do, what we must do, despite the fact that nobody has ever done it before. And that is the quality of leadership without which civilization could not overcome the kind of crisis which confronts civilization now, and particularly in the transatlantic region.